guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and this is going to be the last video uploaded before I am on vacation. I'm going to be taking a vacation for about 2 weeks, so the videos that you're going to see after this one won't have my face, and will have like probably a reduced audio quality for my voice because I'm not in my regular recording space. So just a heads up on that. I won't be able to celebrate the Mephisto, hopefully it's Mephisto, drop with you guys, you know, the way we usually do it, but I'll still try to cover it as best as I can. Just warning ahead of time, the quality of the videos won't be quite the same for just like maybe 10 videos or something like that. Anyways, in the process of getting ready for any breaks that I take on the channel over the years, I try to make content ahead of time, and that comes in many forms. Sometimes I review a bunch of stuff ahead of time. Sometimes I test a bunch of CTPs or a bunch of characters with one CTP ahead of time. Sometimes I do a bunch of like top 10 or whatever. I do a bunch of tier lists, etc., whatever. But obviously with the advent of AI, there is a whole new frontier. Well, depending on your take on AI, I know some people are very pro AI, or some people are anti AI, but there is obviously a huge opening opportunity to generate new content. And I'll be honest with you guys, I've had AI studios email me being like, we can turn you into an AI who can produce a bunch of videos for you while you're sleeping and just like double, triple, quadruple your output and all kinds of crazy stuff like that. We can repost your videos in like 10 different languages using AI to like dub over your voice and stuff. But by and large, well, 100% of those emails I've rejected because I'm personally not a big fan of AI. I'm not passing any judgment on you guys if you're using AI. I think it obviously has a lot of flaws and some niche merits, but what I thought was really funny was on YouTube, there is, and it's existed for a few months now, but just in the past few months it popped up. It's called the Inspiration tab, and I'll show you behind the curtain of YouTube content creation, a small behind the curtain look here for myself. So this is what I see on my content, like not on my dashboard, but on my content tab. I can see all the videos that I've uploaded. I've scrolled down, so there's no like spoilers for future videos, but it shows me like some information about the video, and I can click into each video to see certain details about it. I can change things, the title, the thumbnail, etc., blah, blah, blah. But there's this new tab at the top here called Inspiration. There's, shorts, live, you can see there. And this is insane. This is the whole kind of impetus. This is the whole springboard where I was like, could AI actually replace my channel? Because this is crazy. So just based on what I'm assuming is Google's AI going through and trawling all of my videos for data, okay, the 4,500 plus videos that I've made, plus all the other content creators for MFF, this is what they can generate just at the flick of a switch. And I mean that because every time you refresh this tab that I'm about to show you, it will generate more content and different content. So check this out. I have no idea what it's about to show. Okay, this is all just going to generate on the fly. Okay, ideas for your next video. It's always like kind of structured the same way, but look at this. Predicting Marvel Future Fight's next big update. Very popular topic with your viewers. Dr. Voodoo, Tier 4 Dr. Voodoo, was I wrong? And it's like, even the way that they title the titles, the way that they structure the title, it sounds like my voice. It's so creepy. And they even do these auto-generated thumbnails. Look at this. Don't waste your tier 4 on Shalabal yet. Like, bro, this is me. What are you talking about? It? And like the joke is here that it is me, because AI is not actually AI. It's just a large language model. It's an LLM. And it's basically just, I understand how this like version of AI that we have works, and that it's basically just, it does sound like me because it is, fed off of my data that I had to consent to as a content creator. And it's obviously it's a little dystopian, it's a little creepy, but look at this. The true Universal Hero ABX tier here. What the hell is the true Universal Hero ABX tier list? It honestly sounds like some shit I might say, but even the thumbnail, it's like, it looks like a cooler game than we play in Marvel Future Fight, to be honest. And sometimes you just get kind of like weird, sloppy kind of thumbnails where it's like, okay, what is this video? The definitive ranking of Marvel's villains. Sure. And then look at these thumbnails. Like, who are these characters? This is like some alternate reality, bootleg, off-brand Marvel thing. You can see like the vague kind of Marvel. I mean, that's definitely Thanos. That's Batman. That's probably like a Skrull Ultron hybrid. I wish I could like zoom in to show you guys. It's so funny. This one just looks like one of those Hot Topic t-shirts. But Green Goblin looks like Wizard of Oz. I don't know what's going on here. This guy's like the Sniffer. I don't know who that is. There's like a Mount Rushmore of villains. Like it kind of makes sense. It's just kind of crazy. And then it even shows you inspiration from other creators. So they're like, there's a lot of crossover and kind of like bleeding in between content creators. And these are content creators I have no idea who they are. It's like Vid Comics, Comic Vault, Plot Armor Comics. You could, like, this is where you get into like, kind of like troubled waters, because you could be basically ripping off in a way other content creators because the AI inspiration is giving you these ideas. Now for MFF in particular, the you know, this sub genre of gaming is pretty niche. There's not that many content creators, but I imagine for more competitive scenes, if you're like a Rivals content creator, obviously there's going to be overlap, right? Everyone's going to make their own tier list of Rivals. Everyone's going to make their own whatever, but you can run into some serious issues where you feel like you come up with a unique idea for a video and then everybody just copies you. I mean, that does happen anyways in the world of YouTube, but I just feel like this kind of gives people even more license to rip others off, which is kind of crazy. I also have a screenshot here of some of the other videos that it was inspiring me, or not inspiring me, like it was suggesting as inspiration. This is like Ghost Rider uniform, old versus new. It was Summer Groot, a character nobody asked for. And I find this really funny because you can basically answer for yourself. Like, do these thumbnails, do these titles sound interesting to you? It says here, very popular topic with your viewers. Boycott MFF, player frustration. This one's really funny. And this is probably the only one that made me think, you know what, I can actually make a video out of this. But otherwise, yeah, it's pretty crazy. And the craziest thing is I just hit F5. I'm going to refresh this page now, and everything's going to change. At least the last few times that I did it, everything changes. Look at this. All brand new ideas, brand new thumbnails, brand new everything. Ranking tier 4 Silver Surfer and Shala Ball's utility. And it's like some rando chick next to Silver Surfer. We have the Ghost Rider uniform showdown. It's the same, basically the same one that I showed you before, but I guess it's like improved now. You've got DC versus Marvel tier list. I gotta see these thumbnails, man. This stuff kills me. It's just so funny how weird. Bro, what are these names? Mummins? Tack? Me. This guy's name is literally me. Shest? Huck? Late. I know, like, I understand the AI still has issue with text, but this is pretty, like, I've definitely seen some of these thumbnails before, just straight up on YouTube, you know, like the death battles or whatever. And then the other crazy thing is that the wording in these video suggestions sounds so crazy, like scarily like something shit I would say. So check us out. Debunked 5 common MFF misconceptions and myths. Okay, look at this. This is so crazy. So there's like different hooks. There's like the bold claim hook, the question and reveal hook, the problem solution hook. And this can be kind of standardized in terms of like when you're telling a story or when you're kind of like developing a conversation with like a one-sided conversation, kind of like a mini lecture. So this doesn't just apply to like YouTube. This applies to a lot of different fields and stuff. But think you know everything about Marvel Future Fight? What if I told you that universal type characters are always better than combat types is a myth? Or that you're totally mismanaging your ISO 8 sets based on outdated advice. Prepare to have your long-held MFF beliefs shattered as we debunk 5 common misconceptions that are holding back your gameplay. And then cue the like Watch Mojo music. This is insane. Like, who wrote this, right? But that's the thing. Nobody wrote it. Just a large language model, like, unfortunately, had to subject itself to thousands of hours of watching my videos, and then it barfed out stuff that genuinely scares me with how accurate it sounds. Genuinely. And look at this. They even give you like an outline. The truth about the CTP of Rage. Now, here is probably where you're rolling the dice big time. If I didn't know as much about MFF as I do, or if I took a long break from the game, for example, or I was covering multiple games on my channel and I took a long break from MFF and I came back to the game and then I was trusting what the AI was telling me, the inspiration was telling me, this is where you can run into some serious problems regarding authenticity and regarding just misleading your audience with blatant mistakes, right? So let's see what it says here about the CTP of Rage. Many players believe the CTP of Rage is universally best for all PvE characters, but certain characters, kits, and game modes benefit more from specific CTPs like Energy or Judgment. That's like almost true. Okay, that's okay. We'll analyze specific characters' examples where Rage isn't the optimal choice. Sure. Learn how to effectively evaluate your character's skills and the content you're tackling, but beyond the Rage or bust mentality. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty accurate. Unmasking the myth of max dodge cap. The idea that exceeding... What is this? The idea that exceeding a certain dodge percentage is a persistent misconception. We'll dive into the diminishing returns and explain how dodge still contributes, albeit differently, beyond the visible cap. This is just straight up horse shit. So this is where, and if you have any experience and any time spent with AI, exposure to AI, you'll see this. It's like it basically hallucinates logic that doesn't exist, or it's pulling from unreliable sources. So maybe at some point, someone on Reddit, for example, I'm not blaming Reddit at this point. It's very easy to blame Reddit here. Don't have a great history with the Redditors, but what I'm saying is someone somewhere, maybe on Reddit, maybe on YouTube, maybe on the forums, made a post, made a video, whatever, and said that, you know, there is diminishing returns, but there are still returns on dodge beyond 75% the cap. That's not the case. That's just not the case. Explore how the dodge cap is misunderstood and how it relates to different types of content and enemy attack mechanics, particular in GBR and Dimension Rift. Completely not true. No, doesn't matter. Discover the often overlooked benefits of higher dodge, such as increased survivability against multiple hits and in specific challenge content. No, unless the content reduces your dodge, and then you'd have to be overcapped to withstand the reduction. Otherwise, no, there is no evidence supporting going above 75% matters at all. So you have to be so careful with this kind of stuff. I don't see a lot of it, thankfully, but I do see people posting, like, they ask ChatGPT, which CTP should I use? Or, like, what are the best uniforms right now in Marvel Future Fight? And it spews out some stuff that does make sense. It's not completely wrong, but there's always at least one or two pieces of just completely hallucinated logic. And the other thing to consider is that it's not always hallucinated content. It can also just be stuff that was true that isn't anymore. It's not often, but things in Marvel Future Fight do change. The systems get changed. Certain stats that were really rare become less rare, become more readily accessible, and things like that. And so, for example, even for that CTP of Rage one that we were talking about for World Boss, where Judgment might be better, that was more true a couple of years ago than it is now, because now, for example, with the Iron Man emblem collection, you actually have access to a lot of additional damage and a lot of additional elemental damage, which means that you're going to hit that soft cap on elemental damage a lot faster, a lot sooner. And so because of that, Rage actually then gets better for certain characters, because Rage doesn't, is not going to interfere, or it's not going to contribute to that diminishing returns of elemental damage that we know exists beyond, 300, 400% increased elemental damage. You start to hit these massive diminishing returns, and then Rage actually becomes better for Ghost Rider, becomes way better for Thor, etc., because they already have access to so much elemental damage from passives, from team-ups, from other buffs, and also from the emblem collection. So the other thing is that the data just gets outdated. Once upon a time, and also not only that data gets outdated, but people also make mistakes. I have videos where I suggested things. I know it's a long time ago now, but I still remember I told people back in the day, Transcendent CTP was a good idea for Sharon Rogers, because back in 2017, I think, or 2000, yeah, I think it was 2017, Sharon was like the best character in the game, and she was so OP that there was no reason to give her an energy CTP. Giving her a Transcendence was just fine because she was just so broken. And it was better to save your rare CTPs of energy for weaker characters to, like, bring them up. That was my advice at the time. It wasn't very good advice at the time, but it had its place. It had its logic in the way the game was balanced back then. Now, if an LLM, an AI, takes that information and tries to give it to you now, it's basically it's worse than garbage. It's misinformation, and it's going to be misleading people. Now, I would personally never say that anymore, obviously, but I can recognize that, and I can say that because I can just backtest the logic. But the LLM can't. The AI can't do that unless it has, I guess, I don't know, explicit parameters, right, to update its information. But otherwise, you do run the risk of basically getting tainted information. So I don't think an AI could replace me, but I do think it's pretty spooky how accurately it can mimic me and I guess my like YouTube voice. So bad uniforms fixed, Marvel Future Fight history. I still get a kick. I like 99% of the time I just completely ignore this stuff, and I only really check this stuff out when I'm really desperate to get some advice and some kind of inspiration. So in a way, it does do its job. It usually just steers me in the right direction, and then I come up with something. But it's crazy to see how well it can mimic things, and I am really curious if these analytics that it's seeing here for, you know, the popularity with viewers, if it is true, because they don't really give you a lot of information. They just say this topic is popular. A large number of viewers watched videos about this topic in the past 28 days. I don't know how they come to that conclusion. I would love to hear from you guys, because it's obviously something that you would have to give me the advice on and give me the insights on. I wouldn't have that information whatsoever, but it is pretty fascinating. So yeah, hit me up in the comments down below. Hit me up if you have any experience with AI yourself, and if it scares you or excites you, and why. Thank you so much for watching the video. Smash the like button if you're in the content. More content to come with Mephisto review, hopefully, and everything else. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.